All right. Good morning, everyone. It's a Saturday. It's actually May 1st, 2021. Another candid, hopefully fun episode. I have my guest speaker, awesome Brian Diaz. He is a musical artist in the entertainment industry and he has a lot to share. So I want to give you a little bit about him. We actually met through a college friend from Robert Morris University. It was just happenstance. Me and my husband Yesenko, we met him, and we just love music as well as art, and we just got along, and we've been friends ever since for I don't know how many years now. It felt like forever though. It's been a long time.
I think
So
it's been about almost 3 years. I think this year is going to be three, maybe
awesome.
even four. I think it was like 2018.
There you go.
Yeah,
See?
yeah.
Yeah. We gotta do a show. I know he has his own album. I definitely want him to share his work, his artistry, and I have sang with him in a few songs in Smule. So if you do
Yes,
Smule,
yes,
join
yes,
us in Smule. We love
yes.
doing karaoke there. It's awesome because you get to collaborate with people around the world. So if you haven't tried, sign up for that. Um,
Yeah.
I'm very thankful to have him, and give us a little bit, an idea of who you are and about yourself, Brian.
Well, first of all, good morning, everybody, and thank you for having me on this program. I'm very excited. I'm very honored. A little bit about myself. I've been singing professionally for good over 20 years, maybe about 20 years. I'm here, obviously, in Orlando now, but I'm from Chicagoland area, Waukeganland area. And nothing. Music is my passion. It's been my life for as long as I can remember, since I was a little boy. And it's just something that it's spiritual for me. It's emotional. It's something that I enjoy connecting with, the public with. And it's just gotten me through a lot of times. And definitely very grateful for having this gift to share with people.
Beautiful. Yeah, and we
Hmm.
definitely need music right now, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic. Everyone can use a light of hope. Music definitely empowers people to share and express. And I truly do invite people to not only listen to it, but sing, even if you don't have
Yep.
the best voice or you don't think you do.
Yeah.
Sing in the shower, dance, just have some fun, express yourself, right? And or dance to Zumba or any music that you want to dance to.
Yeah.
Um, so
That's one of the
here's
beauties of Smule, that you can. It's like therapy. You just record with anybody you want, and if you want to share it, you share it. If not, it's such a great app.
Yes, it is. The
Mm.
collaboration is awesome. And some people even play with their violin. That was pretty cool. I got to hear
Really
a pick up like another person played with their guitar to do as a duet, and even
nice.
piano. And I like it when I hear the kids. They're so cute when they sing with us adults, and it's just adorable to hear the little voices, little people singing with us. And some of them are challenging songs too. So I'm impressed with some of the kids, the bravery that they put in there. It's just fun.
That's
Um,
awesome.
so cool. So we'll share more music about you. So let's more about your story. So how has been being gay impacted the way that you do work in the entertainment industry? I know that's a close and dear to your heart.
It's something that I think, like, at first I was like, you know what, that's just something personal about myself that I don't think it doesn't need to come up, or it comes up when it comes up, and it's there. I don't think I realized until much later how what a big deal it was, at least as far as the people that I was working with and stuff like that. Um, I don't I don't think at first, or for a while at least, it wasn't something that was addressed. It was kind of like an elephant in the room,
Yeah.
with some of the management that I worked with, or with some of the people that I was collaborating with or talking to or whatever. It's like I could sense that they knew, but that they either didn't want to talk about it, or um, it was just kind of left unsaid. And I think eventually I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to kind of address this head on from the beginning, so that both parties can just kind of just be like, relax. Um, because I just felt uncomfortable, and I felt uncomfortable for them sometimes too. And sometimes they just didn't care. Like, once I would say something to them, they're like, "Oh, I don't care," or "Oh yeah, I know," you know. But it was definitely something that, once it was addressed, I think both parties just kind of relaxed. But I did have, some nice reactions to it, where people were supportive and nice about it and welcoming about it, and then there was some that was just kind of like, because I come from a generation, and the genre of music that I do is not always necessarily the most accepting, of being gay or bisexual or lesbian, transgender, anything like that. But it's definitely been a process. But I do feel freer being open and honest about it, just because it's important to be true and honest to yourself, and in doing so, you're going to give a more honest and real project to people. You can be more free to be yourself, and then even have moments like this where you can be honest and hopefully inspire or share things with people to help them as well. Kind of guide them on their journey too. I want to say, a lot of times it has been an obstacle when it comes to, voicing this information. Again, I remember some of my first experiences, at least with, some of the people who were helping me with my projects. It was kind of like, you're not going to say anything yet. I know, and that's fine that I know, but I don't want you to say anything yet to anybody else. Or if they mention it, let's just change the subject, And, at first I think I was just so eager to just be successful and sing and whatnot that I was like, okay, that's fine. But in retrospect, I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just been, no, this is who I am, accept it or don't, And I think a couple experiences in from my first, artist representation, it was kind of like, well, if it comes up, great, deal with it. If it doesn't, we won't. But I do remember one specifically where it was like, well, we're going to have this huge coming out party for you. And I'm like, you do realize that, I have kind of mentioned on and off over the years that I am, I'm gay. So no, we're just going to kind of erase your past, and we're just going to act like it never happened. And we're going to have a release coming out party for you. And we're going to have a video and a song and all this other stuff. It was like this whole debacle that never happened. And I just remember that person being, kind of a bully or kind of a tyrant in the respect of, like, because I wasn't out yet, he wanted me to be, really masculine and stand up straight and make sure you don't act like that, and make sure, like, it was just, I remember video shoots and photo shoots, and I was just like, is this really happening? Is this really my life? Very, very bad time to remember, but it's out there. Unfortunately, it's out there, and there are people who are like that even to this day. This was only a few years ago. And I just remember everything with Pulse happened, and I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. If the person wants to accept me how I am, great. If they don't, then they don't have to work with me. So at this point, it's just kind of like, it comes out from the beginning of the conversation, or it's already on my social media or my videos or whatever. So they kind of know at this point, But it's definitely been, professionally speaking, it's been a little more moderate of an experience. But prior to that, like, when I was doing talent shows or growing up or whatever, being gay, I mean, it was very difficult, especially in Puerto Rico in the 90s. Forget about it.
Oh no.
Forget about it. But I think we've come a long way, at least in certain aspects that I've seen. So at least we've made some progress.
Well, I'm glad it's progressing and not getting worse. And I know it took time, right? It took a lot of sacrifice. I'm sure it was not only professionally affecting, but emotionally, personally. Your identity is being questioned, and you're deciding, okay, should I be myself or not?
Yeah.
So it's a heavy, I would say, reality. And it's not just also being gay, just anyone really, just accepting who they are and not necessarily following the footsteps that other people put on you or perceive, and you deciding who you are and really going out there. So what do you wish you knew before starting this journey that would have helped you as you were progressing and going through this journey?
I think that my son's here, Mickey's here, my puppy. Such a pain in the butt, I swear. It's like having a tail behind me all day. I think that, I kind of knew not to trust. I knew to be cautious. I had heard the stories from some of my idols and other colleagues and stuff. But I think because this is something that I've kind of done by myself the whole time, I've been kind of like my own team for years. When I did have those opportunities that did come, into play, where it seemed like there was, okay, there's my entrance. I'm going to finally make it, I think I kind of got blindsided by the opportunity, and I wasn't really thinking, like, can I trust this person? Can I not trust this person? Because ultimately, in the entertainment industry, I'm not saying everyone's like that, but probably a good like 99.9%
Yeah.
are kind of out for the money. They're kind of out for the fame, or what are you going to do for me? I think that if I could rewind time, I would kind of tell my younger self, hey, one eye open, one eye closed, because you just never know. Some of the producers or some of the representatives that I would work with, it was just about the money, or it was just about filling a void in their life because they had nothing to do or something like that. Or I don't think that I genuinely met anybody or have worked with anybody yet who said, this is somebody who I really believe in, and I know I can take this person to the next level, and I'm going to invest 150%.
Mm-hmm.
I just, in retrospect, or even during the situations, I could feel like that usage. I was like, you know what, this is just somebody just kind of pulling my light and just kind of using me. Um, so I think that's the one thing that I would have just kind of whacked myself on the head, when I was younger, and be like, you know what, just be really careful. Just be really careful, And I think that I've been fortunate, actually, to some of the stories that you hear, or even some of the things that have happened to some of my idols. I've been fortunate that all that's been done to me has been, a couple of people here and there using me. There's a lot of crazy stories out there as far as, um, what can happen to you in the industry when you're, coming out and coming up.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's definitely not easy, especially putting yourself out there. You're
Hmm.
self-marketing. Like you said, you're a one-person shop. You have
Hmm.
to be your agent, your manager. You got to schedule. You got to put yourself into a marketing strategy. And then at the same time, you're the one that's performing, getting the
Hmm.
materials. I can't even imagine what you had to do to get set up as a venue, making sure you had, I would say, I mean, can you describe some of the things you had to do in your role to get yourself set up? Can you share some of
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. And I'm not going to say it's always been like that. I did have help, along the way. Thank God
Hmm.
there was some times where I did have a team, or even sometimes I would have a good friend with me, kind of tagging along as my groupie to help me out. But those moments where it was kind of by myself, which was a big chunk of it, you have to do the emailing, you have to do the calling by yourself, and sometimes you have to ghost represent yourself, because a lot of venues or a lot of places are not going to take you serious if you're just calling on your own behalf.
Hmm.
Um, Once you get the booking and you discuss, what you're going to get paid, or this and the other, once you show up, you have to carry all your equipment. Um, you have to do the sound check, then you have to actually do the performance, and then you have to do anything you're going to do after, like interact with anybody and meet and greet, or promote, whether it be the radio or whatever it is that you're doing. So that 15 minutes that you're going to perform can really turn into like an 8-hour process. It's crazy, and that's how it is, obviously, even with major artists, but they do have their team tagging along with them, so they just do their performance and kind of go off. But for the independent people, it can be a pretty lengthy process. Definitely worth it. I wouldn't say that it's not, but it is a lot of work. Absolutely.
Hmm. And what kind
Yeah.
of types of events have you done? Have you gone into like a radio show, or
Hmm.
what are the kind of venues that you typically do your performance on?
Um, I mean, we've done radio, TV. I've had, I've been in magazines, I've been in newspapers. I've toured, parts of the U.S., Puerto Rico. Um, a lot of promos, obviously, because when you're coming out, you kind of have to just, pay your dues. But that's another thing with the industry where, if you don't necessarily have this massive following, even if you've been doing it for a long time, they're still like, maybe you should do this for promo for exposure. It's like, well, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've kind of paid my dues at this point. I also need to pay my bills. So that's that's another battle that you kind of go with when you're trying to represent yourself. You don't have that person to kind of back you up and say, no, he's not going to sing for free. He was doing this for a long time. Let's get him paid. But yeah, and even in Central Florida, a lot of stuff in Central Florida that I've had the opportunity to perform in. Chicago, obviously, Wisconsin, Texas, New York. So I've had a lot of exposure over the years. I can't lie that it's been a lot of fun, and a lot of great opportunities. Met a lot of great people, um, and I hope that those times start coming back around little by little. As hopefully life gets back to some sort of normalcy.